Hello, everybody. It's a rainy day in Kansas City, but boy, are we busy working for the Lord. I'm so busy. I don't know if you can tell, Zion, I didn't even shave today. Not that it matters. You didn't shave either, I noticed, with your beard. But, daughter Bobby always asks me, she's never seen me grow a beard. She said, Dad, why don't you grow a beard? I said, maybe because I don't want to, or maybe because I can't. I said if I was around turn of the century in Jesus' day, I'd be I'd be in the courts, at the gate. I'd be a weenie at the gates because I'd probably have about this much beard, So so anyway, I always heard I don't know the dose of Native American that I have in me. I tried to find out, but it's if you saw you've seen pictures of my dad, and he looks very Native American. And I tried to find out, but I always heard Native Americans didn't have much body hair or chest hair. I always heard that. So anyway, there you go. And how I turned out with this hair is a biological mystery that doesn't fit your biology class. I shouldn't have this hair, but I do. So anyway, I didn't have time to shave today, but I came in. Boy, I'm excited to see Nathan and Mark and Kayla and Anita are all here. And we're going to talk about, you can see the title says Nukes or No Nukes. And Zion and I talked about it last night. We said we had a lot better title than that one, but we couldn't remember it. But we do know that in the news today, a lot of people are really concerned about what's going to happen, all nuclear weapons. And I don't need to tell you again, you that have been hanging out, Colleen and Eleonora, you that have been around me for a while know that I bring up occasionally because of the subject that's in the news today. About nuclear power and nuclear weapons and all that kind of stuff, that I grew up around that. If you were my age, you'd know there's Carol Hawkins. Oh, maybe I shouldn't say your last name, Carol. There's Carol, and Carol, we've been around together a while, hey? And she would know right away, Nikita Khrushchev. And I might say that to other people, and they would have no. Do you know who that is, Zion? No. We knew Nikita Khrushchev went to the UN, took off his shoe, went to the podium of UN, took off his shoe, pounded it on there, and said, "We will bury you." He was the leader of the Soviet Union at the time. We will bury you. He never got around to it, and then he died. But yeah, but he got buried. But hi, Darren. But we were told that, and how close we came, and we told our stories of how we practiced the nuclear weapons and how we had to walk home and the sirens went off and it was all practice, and how close we came to it, and how the mentality was we're all going to be blown up anyway. I think a little of that's creeping in, except in America. Who was I talking to? I think my brother. He may come on here. We were talking like so many of your generation. They have never been around a war that really threatened us, our borders, even clear back to Vietnam, where people would go to Vietnam, but it never affected our borders much. And Afghanistan, and of course we had the Twin Towers. That's the first time we felt, and that changed us a little bit, but for a while. But anyway, so nukes or no nukes, so everybody's wondering what's going to happen. I'm not going to say, of course. I do say this, that the tension in certain countries like China and Russia, you can feel the tension is just tightening like a rubber band. Historically, when that happens and they run short of whatever, and the tension and political, um, evil tends to grab. And the book of James says, what causes fightings? What causes wars and fightings? It says people want something and they can't have it. And so you study wars and that. People then, hi, Thora, Judah. People want something and they can't have it, and then it causes fightings, and whether it be on the local level, church level, family level, or national level, or whatever. So right now, as we see so much changing in the world, what is in you got to answer this, not me, the percentage of chance, just in your own mind, that eventually evil is going to break out and say, I want stuff, I want something, I want to change something. And it's been a long time since we've seen that happen in a generation or two. So chances are, well, I think that's pretty good. If it doesn't happen, okay. But if it does happen, then we want to be ready, right? We want to be prepared in case, spiritually prepared. Best of all, though, is we would like to get a church that's spiritually powerful enough to turn back evil, turn it back. I have a theory, and I've mentioned it before, that in World War II, before World War II, that I know I had it on TV the other day, a documentary, and they said Hitler, the most hated man in the history of the world. Well, I don't know about that. I think in the days of Caesar, he was pretty hated by a lot of the world. Not all the world, but part of the world too. But anyway, Hitler, the most hated man in the history of the world. Well, had there been a revival of the Spirit of God in the 1930s after the stock market crash and the depression hit the world, had there been a rise of the Spirit of God, it might have been a financial depression, but we could have had an explosion of the Spirit of God. It's possible that whole thing could have just been turned back. They were the world of Europe was looking for a Messiah, particularly German, of course, and Austria and other parts too, maybe. We're looking for a Messiah, somebody to get us out of trouble, somebody to give us hope again. Well, who better than Jesus Christ, the Son of the living God? Well, that's my theory on it. I can't prove it now, can I? So, could we be in that same situation that could come up again, which makes us and what we have to say so important? I was up praying again last night, and as I've been doing, and every night for a long time now, and for pretty lengthy prayer. And again, saying, Lord, if you know somebody that can do this better, if you know somebody that could deliver the message that needs to be delivered, that needs to be said to the church today, go find them and tell me and let me find them. But right now, I don't know anybody. And I'm not saying we're any better. I'm looking at your names there, and here's me, and over there's Zion helping me out. And I don't know. I don't know if we're that good either, but I don't know anybody else that's trying to bring the message. They're all sort of saying, somebody help us, send us somebody. And we're saying, well, we kind of understand revival. We kind of have a plan that if the church would, if the church would return and reform, right? That God would revive and restore. And that's it. That's a great plan of how it could happen before anything else has to happen. And there are, and it could happen in any country in the world. There's Christians in China, there's Christians in Russia. So could it happen? Yeah. Do we see the Christians of the world on their faces crying out to God? Not really. So that's why the intensity of this is so important, because if the church does not push back evil, then evil's going to push back our way. And it could be that, evil continues to push harder until maybe somebody will, hi, Richie, hi, Heather, somebody might push some of those buttons, and then it escalates even more. Well, then when I grew up, then everybody said, then it's going to just, the world is just going to end. It's the end of the world. You've maybe seen it in movies or something, but it was real in our day. The end is near, right? They'd stand on the corner with a sign said end is, and they meant the end of the world. And a lot of people ask that question, right? When is the end of the world going to come? So I picked out this scripture last night when I was in prayer, 2 Peter 10. But the day of the Lord will be like a thief. Well, okay, so Peter's telling us, you're not going to be able to figure all this out. The heavens will, now listen closely, the heavens will disappear with a roar. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and the earth and everything done in it will be laid bare. Since everything will be destroyed in this way, what kind of people ought you to be? All right. Well, reading that, Peter ought to know, reading that, I'd say it sounds like the earth is going to go. Everything's going to be destroyed. Isn't that what I just read? Didn't I just read that? I mean, can you see how people would read that and say, since everything's going to be destroyed? It sounds like the end of the world to me. Yeah. So you got to know your theology. You got to know more than one verse. You got to go back, which I love to do, back to first century Christianity. Fortunately, we have the Dead Sea Scrolls that are even today still being interpreted There's Dead Sea Scrolls that haven't even been read yet, you know? And so we got to read this and understand. You keep reading on, and it says, that day will bring about the destruction of the heavens with fire. The elements will melt in the heat. And so it says, consider what kind of people should we be? So this sounds like the end of the world to me. It's going to all go in heat and blow up. Well, that just feeds and feeds and feeds, doesn't it? Doesn't that just feed the idea? Nuclear war, the worst kind of explosions, powerful bombs we didn't know, we haven't even seen ever happen before, or available to mankind, to blow up the whole earth, and it's going to blow it up, and it'll be the end of the world, right? So I can see how people get to that. But that's not what it means. For one thing, there's the pictures in the Bible. For instance, when we had the flood, that was not the end of the world. That was the transformation of the world. The world didn't end, but it was transformed. It was changed. And that's what this means. Now, if you begin to study, first of all, what it means, but more than that, what did Peter mean? What did they mean in the first century? And not only what they meant when Peter said it, but what was the historical roots that Jewish people and other people had in that day, that when they read that, what did that mean to them? Because their roots went down. So they did not have the roots of, oh, it's all going to blow up and be gone. See, they had the roots of restoration, transformation, just like the roots of Noah. See, God's going to transform everything. And so the idea here is, yeah, oh yeah. The elements will be destroyed by fire, and everything in it will be laid bare. But this means that when this happens, the Lord comes like a thief, is evil. Yeah, evil's going to be destroyed. Everything that can be destroyed. Remember Paul wrote, and he said, you better lay down, you better build with jewels and metals and gold. And if you build with hay, wood, or stubble, it's going to be burned up. So the hay, wood, and stubble means weak things, cheap things, and then all the evil in the world is going to be tested by fire, and it's going to be burned up, but all the good things of God are going to stay, right? And Noah and his family, righteous Noah, stayed. See, he made it through the flood. Yeah, you're starting to see it now, aren't you? So yeah, the things of God will make it through the fire. You see, so this is just to clean up everything. It comes, and the cool thing about it says, since everything will be destroyed this way, because we just read about the heat and the fire. So we say, well, it just said everything. Well, see, if you're Peter and you have the Jewish roots, you already know everything's not going to be destroyed, because we have the restoration roots, you see. And so if everything that doesn't belong here, every root doesn't belong here, all the evil's going to be destroyed. It says, what kind of people ought you to be? You ought to live holy, godly lives as you, well, this will snap it on you, as you look forward to the day of God and speed its coming. Well, who in their right mind, if they thought everything's going to be destroyed, I'm going to be destroyed, everything's going to be burned up, my kids are going to be burned up, the world's going to be burned up, is going to look forward to that? No. So the people of God, hi, Emery, the people of God look forward to that day because we're going to make it through the fire. And we look forward to that day because evil's going to be burned up. Well, that just fits everything Christian and everything Jewish, right? All our history, all our good doctrines. So we look forward to that day when righteousness reigns. So evil's going to be burned up, and it'll be the destruction of the heavens. Oh, really? That means we're not going to have a heaven anymore? No, we look forward. It says, but in keeping with his promises, we are looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth. We don't have destruction, like heaven doesn't go away and earth doesn't go away, and he puts his hands together or speaks out a new heaven. No, the old heaven and the old earth, fire destroys everything, all the evil in the heavenly places and on the earth, and then they become new again. See, they get transformed. See, God always, after his creation, He always keeps what he made and transforms it. That's what he did with you. Wouldn't it? Aren't you glad that he didn't decide to destroy you? Say, I want to be born. I want to be born again. He says, well, I don't do that. I don't born again. I just destroy. I just destroy. No, he said, wait a minute. I thought you could be born again. He said, no, I just destroy and start over. But he doesn't, does he? He took you and he allowed you to be born again. He didn't destroy you. He lets you be born a second time. He does that with the earth. He does that with heaven. He does that with creation. You see what I'm saying? So he didn't destroy you. He started over and let you be born again. New creation. New creation out of the old creation. Earth out of the old creation. Heaven out of the old creation. That's why we can look forward to that day, even though evil's going to be burned up. So when people say, well, I think the world's going to end in some nuclear holocaust and all that, well, there'll be some, maybe evil will go, maybe, maybe God, I'm not saying this is doctrine. Okay, so somebody believes that. Well, maybe he'll just use nuclear war and burn up all the evil. But the people of God could say, well, I'm looking forward to a new heaven and a new earth, right? So powerful stuff when you get a hold of that. So nukes or no nukes. Well, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. Obviously, it's terrible. But when I look toward the end, I know that the end is not going to end. The world is not going to be destroyed like that. There is no end of the world. I get asked all the time, when's the end of the world going to come? And I tell them, well, it ain't. Well, I don't say ain't, but if you say ain't, it's not a like right. It's not, Carol. That's not good English, but it does make an impact. It's not going to end. It's going to be transformed. You see what I'm saying? How's your computer going? Good?
Going good.
Yeah. He was looking at the power of his computer. He told me I might have to speak fast today and end quick, but it's going good. Okay, well then I'm going to keep talking because I'm having a good time here today. So it's not going to end in that way, even though that would be very tragic and obviously. So nobody wants to see that happen, right? But if it does happen, we don't go into this as the end. We're over, we're done for, the world is going to end. No. So the remnant of God, the people of God are always going to survive. Now, we're not saying it wouldn't be terrible tragedy on who knows what group, right? And Anne Marie, I was saying, hi Jennifer. Anne Marie, I was saying, we over here in America, we're in a different position. Our younger ones, and generations younger than me, are a little loose on it because they kind of like, okay, maybe, because like, well, it'll happen over there, and you're over there, and so it'll happen over there. It probably won't happen over here, but you're right in the thick of it over there. And certain moves could really affect you. So different here in attitude, and so trying to get churches and Christians to really take seriously the type of people we ought to be, because it says, what kind of people should you be? So then, dear friends, since you are looking forward to this, all these changes, looking forward to evil and the evil in the world being burned up, we're looking for what kind of people should we be in the meantime? What should we be? He says, you need to be found spotless, blameless, and at peace with him. So if you're afraid, fearful, nervous, oh my, what's going to happen? Oh, the world's going to end, or we're going to run out. It's all going to. Well, you got to be at peace with him, right? Be at peace with him, shalom with him, spotless and blameless. Well, Anne Marie, it's a little tough because there's no fear of the Lord. There's no fear of the Lord much here. That could change. That could change. God knows how to do it, but we could use a little of that here. And I've been praying about that and seeing it. And I was reading that in Psalm 23. I'm getting off the subject now, but where is that? Psalm 23. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? If I can find it, I thought it was. I'm not in Psalm 20. Sorry, I went to the wrong one. Oh no, 25. Who then are those who fear the Lord? Question mark. I've been praying that for several days, because I answered, who then are those that fear the Lord? And you know what? Hi, Anita. I said, I don't know. Who then? You can pray this with me. Who then are those who fear the Lord? And I said, I don't know. Do I? I hope I do. And then I'd measure it and think through it and what level. Who then are those who fear the Lord? And then it gives some great promises from Psalm 25. You can look that up, but I don't know. I need to know. I need to know. I know the promises of it. I know that, that how important that is, but I don't know. I don't know. And I want to know, who then are those who fear the Lord? So you can look at that with me. So it's just been going over my head for several days. So anyway, when we get to that point, then we always run into this is a tough subject, but I don't want to upset people. But when you get to this point of the end of the world and it's all going to burn up, and a lot of people then they go into what we sometimes call the rapture. Hi, Colleen. The rapture, because then it's the escape mode, and so they just blank out. Well, we don't have to worry about that because we're not going to be here anyway. And then there's others, I don't know if you know it or not, but we live real close to others who believe they are going to go through it anyway. They are going to go through it, and then they have a job to do while they go through it. And then I have friends who believe in the rapture, they're going to go up. I have friends who believe they're going to go through. And I have friends, I got to remember, like they're going to be here. And at the very end, they go up and then they come right back down. I can't remember exactly how. I got friends. I got all of them. I got all the friends. And wait, I was so busy I didn't get to drink my coffee either. Kathy says sometimes I shouldn't. I don't drink your coffee very often, but anyway, I didn't get a chance to shave or drink coffee. So I got all those friends, and I hope they'll be friends. But if you have any disagreement with end time doctrines, then they're not your friends anymore. So I don't talk about it very much. But I don't mind anything. I don't care. They can believe anything they want. I'm driving down the road. We were driving down the road recently. Kathy and I are driving, and we had all this bad news. We had the news on, which I can't hardly listen to the news with Kathy because she turns into a commentator. You can't listen to it. She gives her editorial as the news on. How can I listen? Because she's editorializing through the whole thing, and so I turned it off, and immediately she says, "Oh, I just hope there's a rapture. We just need a rapture. I just want a rapture out of here. I just want a rapture out of here." And I turned to her. I said, "Well, I get it." I said, that would be wonderful, wouldn't it? Let's just go. David said that. He said, just turn me into a bird that I might fly away from here. But the longer I've studied this and been in it, for one thing, I want to be friends because I believed in it. I taught it. I've had people say he doesn't believe in the rapture. Not necessarily. I'd love to believe in it. Let's just go. But I struggle with it because of the people who are left out of the rapture. When I got around Jewish people and began to minister and become friends with wonderful Jewish people who were great studiers of the word, and they love God. And I thought, I don't know how to fit them into this when they say, well, am I gonna be left behind for the devil and all that stuff, And I thought, well, where I started just wondering. It said, looks a whole lot different if you're a Jew that says you're going to be left behind, and thinking about it and praying. And I went back and I did my best to study, what did first century Christians believe? And I couldn't find it. I couldn't find where they believed anything about being zipped out of here. They all had a victory mentality. And when they read, then they believed it was for them, you know. And so then I went back to scholars. Going a little long. We okay? I'll go just a little bit more. Then I went back to first century scholars who studied first century Christianity. None of the great scholars said they never believed that. They believed in the power of God that would restore, and they would go through, and they believed in the second coming. He's going to come back, and so it got weakened in me, and so that's when I began. Since I'm not a disbeliever, I want you to believe in whatever makes you feel good and whatever works for you. I've taught it, and then but here's the thing with me. I told somebody this the other day. The stronger I get in God, the closer I get to Jesus, the more I read the scriptures that says, this is the victory, right? Here's the victory. Here's the victory that overcomes the world, even our faith. And the stronger I get in my faith and the more I read in the Bible, I don't want to be against the rapture. I'm not one that doesn't believe in the rapture. The stronger I get in my faith, the less I need the rapture. Take that if you want to. It's a powerful, isn't that powerful, Zion? It's just I'm against people with the rapture. I don't want to take it away from them. If I just the victory of my faith, I just like the less I need it, the less I need it. So it's been strong in me, just that overcoming faith, just being an overcomer. And so I've changed a lot in this, but nobody's my enemy about it. I love you, whatever you believe. And hi, Rita. I hope you can love me no matter what I believe, because I taught it. I did it. I know all the things about Daniel. I know all the numbers and all the 666. And I know it all. I've taught it. I was a pretty good teacher on it. And then I started seeing it from the people who it didn't include. I thought, how would I feel if I was one of those people? And so I started looking in the studies of first century Jews and Christians, and I couldn't find it. So take it, you study it yourself. And if you want to do it, fine. If there's days when, like I said, there's days when Kathy says, let's just fly out of here, but there's other times when they said, no, let's stick to this and just believe what I think the first century Christians and Jews believed, that he is coming back, and that's more than enough to come back and do like this said. He's going to come back, and evil is going to be completely destroyed. So whatever you believe, please don't get mad at me. Whoever you are, hi everybody, getting ready to go. Whatever you believe, I'm not against believe. I'm just saying, the longer and more I get close to him, the less I need a rapture, and the more I just need him to come back and destroy this evil and come back and burn it. And who am I supposed to be in the meantime? Not looking about getting out, but holy, blameless, spotless, and at peace with him. Ooh, okay. Went a little longer today.